Imagine your life as a book. Would anyone want to read it? Think about it. If every chapter was just woke up, went to work, came home, watched TV, rinse and repeat, would that story inspire anyone? Would it inspire you? Let's say you meet two people at a party. One of them tells you, "Oh, my life's been pretty normal, nothing crazy, just the usual." The other one, they've traveled to 5 continents, built a business from scratch, failed, started over, and now they're living their dream. Be honest, which story are you staying to hear? The difference between a boring life and a legendary one? Risk. Every great story, whether it's a book, a movie, or real life, exists because someone stepped into the unknown. They took the leap, they faced the fear, and that's why we remember them. So let me ask you, what's your story? Are you playing it safe, sticking to what's comfortable, or are you willing to take the risks that create the life you actually want? Because here's the truth, no risk, no story. And today, I'm going to show you why taking risks is the only way to live a life worth remembering. Let's get into it. Picture this. You have an idea. Maybe it's a business you've been dreaming of, a job you want to apply for, or even just the thought of moving to a new city. It excites you. You start imagining the possibilities, and then fear kicks in. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail and everyone sees? What if I lose money, time, or even worse, respect? So what do? You tell yourself, maybe now is not the right time. Maybe I'll try later. And just like that, the idea, the potential story, dies before it even begins. Sound familiar? If so, it's not just you, it's all of us. And the reason? Your brain is wired that way. Let's talk science for a second. Your brain's #1 job isn't to make you successful. It's not to make you happy, it's to keep you safe. At risk, it's the opposite of safe. Your brain has something called the amygdala, a tiny part of your brain responsible for fear and survival instincts. Every time you think about taking a risk, your amygdala starts flashing warning signals, danger, uncertainty ahead. It triggers your fight or flight response, making you feel anxious, uncomfortable, and even physically tense. That's why taking risks feels so scary. It's not because the risk is necessarily bad. It's because your brain can't tell the difference between real danger and simple uncertainty. Think about it. Walking into a lion's den, your brain is correct to freak out. Starting a business, your brain thinks it's the same kind of life or death situation when in reality, it's not. But here's the catch. Playing it safe has a cost too. Imagine this. You're 80 years old, sitting in a rocking chair, looking back on your life. You remember the moments you took chances, the risks that led to incredible experiences. But what about the ones you didn't take? The job you didn't apply for because you thought you weren't qualified. The relationship you never pursued because you feared rejection. The adventure you didn't take because you worried about money. A study from Cornell University found that at the end of life, people regret not what they did, but what they didn't do. Missed chances, untold stories, risks avoided. In other words, playing it safe might just be the riskiest move of all. I'll be honest with you, I've been there. There was a time in my life when I had to choose between staying comfortable or taking a leap into the unknown. And here's what I learned. Every single great thing in my life came from a moment where I chose risk over comfort. So let me ask you, what's a risk you've been avoiding? What's that one thing you keep thinking about but haven't acted on because of fear? Because here's the truth. Your brain will always try to talk you out of risk. Fear will never fully go away, but neither will the regret of never trying. At the end of the day, you have two choices. Stay comfortable and keep living the same story, or take the risk and write a new one. Which will it be? Let's talk about something fascinating. Your brain. Have you ever noticed that when you do something completely new, it feels uncomfortable, maybe even terrifying? That's because your brain is wired for survival, not success. See, our ancestors had to avoid risks because back in the day, risk often meant getting eaten by a lion or falling off a cliff. So our brains evolved to fear uncertainty and prioritize safety over everything. Fast forward to today, and while we're not running from wild animals anymore, our brains still treat risk the same way. Quitting your job to chase a dream, your brain sees that as a threat. Speaking up in a meeting, threat. Asking someone out, threat. But here's what most people don't realize. Every time you take a risk, your brain actually changes. This isn't just motivation talk, this is science. When you take a risk, your brain fires up new neural pathways. Think of it like carving a new trail in a forest. At first it's rough and hard to walk through, but the more you use it, the clearer and stronger it gets. This process is called neuroplasticity. And it's how your brain adapts and grows when you step out of your comfort zone. A study published in Nature Neuroscience found that people who engage in risk-taking behaviors develop stronger problem-solving skills, adaptability, and resilience. Their brains learn to process uncertainty better, making future risks feel less intimidating. In short, the more you take risks, the less scary they become. Every successful person you admire, they took a risk. If you look at anyone who has ever done something great, there's one thing they all have in common. They embraced risk. Think about Elon Musk. He was already rich after selling PayPal. But instead of playing it safe, he risked everything on Tesla and SpaceX. Experts laughed at him. People said he was insane. Today, he's literally changing the world. Or take Oprah Winfrey. She was told she wasn't fit for television. Instead of accepting that, she took a massive risk and started her own show. That risk turned into one of the most legendary careers in media history. Even the Wright Brothers, when they were building the first airplane, people thought they were crazy. But if they never took that risk, we wouldn't have air travel today. The real risk? Staying comfortable. Here's the harsh truth. Staying in your comfort zone might feel safe, but it comes with its own risk. The risk of never growing. If you never take risks, you never learn new skills. If you never take risks, You never discover what you're capable of. If you never take risks, you'll wake up one day wondering, what if I just tried? I want you to think about something for a second. Imagine you're 90 years old, sitting in a rocking chair looking back on your life. What do you think you'd regret more? The risks you took, or the ones you didn't? Psychologists say that when people reach old age, their biggest regrets aren't the things they did, but the things they were too afraid to do. The good news, you're not at the end of your story yet. You still have time to turn the page and take the risk that changes everything. So let me ask you, what's that one thing you know you should do, but fear has been holding you back? Maybe it's starting a business, maybe it's moving to a new city, maybe it's putting yourself out there in a way you never have before. Whatever it is, just know this. Every time you take a risk, you're not just making a move, you're rewiring your brain, leveling up your life, and creating a story worth telling. Because at the end of the day, no risk, no story. What if I told you that the people who change the world, the ones we admire, the ones we study, the ones we call legends, they all had one thing in common. They took risks. Big ones. The kind that could have left them broke, humiliated, or completely forgotten. But instead, those risks became the very reason we remember them today. You see, most of us wait. We wait for the right time, the perfect plan, or some magical sign from the universe telling us it's time to take the leap. But here's the truth. Every single person who made history, they didn't wait. They risked everything without knowing if they'd win or lose. And because of that, they changed the game forever. Let me show you. Let's start with J.K. Rowling. Today she's a billionaire, the creator of Harry Potter, a household name. But rewind a few decades and she was a single mother living on government aid, barely able to afford heating for her home. She spent years writing this story that no one believed in, and when she finally finished it, she got rejected not once, not twice, but 12 times. Think about that. Imagine pouring your heart into something, being told no over and over. Most people would have quit, but she didn't. She took a risk, the risk to keep believing in herself when no one else did. And because of that, the Harry Potter series became a global phenomenon, selling over 500 million copies and creating a multi-billion-dollar empire. What if she had given up on the 11th rejection? What if she had let fear win? Her story would have never been told. Now let's talk about someone who literally risked it all, Elon Musk. Today, he's one of the richest people on the planet, but there was a time when he had nothing. After selling his first company, he had two choices: play it safe, enjoy his millions, and live a comfortable life, or go all in on a vision no one believed in, electric cars and space travel. And guess what? He didn't just invest in Tesla and SpaceX, he put every last dollar he had into them. At one point, both companies were on the verge of bankruptcy. He was sleeping on a friend's couch because he had no money left. Experts called him crazy. They laughed at the idea of SpaceX launching rockets or Tesla disrupting the car industry. But today, Tesla is worth over $800 billion. SpaceX is sending rockets into orbit, changing the future of space exploration. If Musk had played it safe, if he had been afraid to risk everything for his dreams, none of this would exist. The risk made the story. Do you see the pattern here? Every one of these stories started the same way: uncertainty, fear, rejection. But instead of backing down, these people took the risk anyway, and that's what made all the difference. So now I need to ask you, what's your story? What risk are you avoiding because it feels too scary? What dream are you sitting on, waiting for the perfect time? Here's the truth. There is no perfect time, there's only now. And if you don't take the risk, you'll never know what could have been. No risk, no story. You've heard it before, take risks. But let's be real, that advice sounds terrifying. And let's face it, not all risks are smart. Jumping into something blindly without any preparation isn't courageous, it's reckless. The key? Learning the difference between stupid risks and strategic risks. Most people think of risk-taking as gambling, like putting all your money on red and hoping for the best. But smart risk-takers, they don't just roll the dice, they plan, assess, and take calculated risks that set them up for success. And that's what I'm going to show you right now, how to take risks the smart way. Step 1. The 10-10-10 rule. Seeing the bigger picture. One of the biggest reasons we avoid risk is because we focus too much on the immediate fear. We ask, what if I fail? Instead of asking, what if I never try? Susie Welch, a business journalist, came up with something called the 10-10-10 rule, and it's a game changer for making smart decisions. Here's how it works. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What will the impact of this decision be in 10 minutes? What will the impact be in 10 months? What will the impact be in 10 years? This shifts your focus from short-term fear to long-term perspective. Example. Let's say you're thinking about quitting your job to start a business. Right now, in the next 10 minutes, it feels terrifying. Your heart's pounding, and you're second-guessing everything. But in 10 months, maybe you're struggling a bit, but you're learning, growing, and getting closer to financial freedom. And in 10 years, you could either be living your dream life or still stuck in the same place, wondering, what if? See the shift? This method helps you break free from fear-based thinking and focus on the bigger picture. Step 2. The worst-case scenario test. Is it really that bad? Fear magnifies failure. We assume the worst-case scenario will ruin us, but let's break that illusion and ask yourself, what is the absolute worst that could happen? Can I recover from it? What's the best that could happen? Example. Let's say you want to ask someone out but fear rejection. Worst case scenario, they say no, you feel embarrassed for a few hours, life goes on. Best case scenario, you just met the love of your life. Now ask yourself, is the risk of temporary embarrassment worth the chance of something amazing? Most of the time, the worst case scenario isn't as bad as we imagine. Step 3. Small risks first. Build your risk-taking muscles. You wouldn't walk into a gym and immediately try to deadlift 500 pounds. That's a recipe for disaster. The same applies to risk-taking. If you're afraid of taking big risks, start small. Speak up in a meeting. Try something new that makes you uncomfortable. Say yes to an opportunity that scares you. Each small risk builds confidence and resilience, so when the big risks come, you're ready. Example: Jeff Bezos didn't start Amazon by quitting his job and going all in overnight. He first tested his idea selling books online while still working. Once he saw it had potential, he took the bigger leap. Lesson: you don't have to risk everything at once. Start small, gain confidence, and level up. Taking risks isn't about jumping in blind. It's about being strategic, intentional, and prepared. So next time you're standing at the edge of a big decision, don't let fear paralyze you. Use the 10-10-10 rule. Ask yourself the worst-case scenario, and if it still feels overwhelming, start small. Smart risks lead to great rewards. The only question is, are you willing to take them? Now it's your turn. Think about a risk you've been avoiding. Use these steps and let me know in the comments, what's one risk you're going to take this week? Let's be real for a second. You have two choices right now. Option 1, you keep playing it safe. You keep walking the same road, living the same routine, making the same comfortable decisions that never push you forward. And sure, you might avoid failure, embarrassment, and rejection, but you also avoid growth. You avoid the possibility of becoming the person you know you're meant to be. Option 2, you take the risk. You step into the unknown. You put yourself out there. You make the move even if it terrifies you. And yes, you might stumble, you might fall flat on your face, but guess what? That's part of the story. And it's those moments, the ones that scare you, the ones that challenge you, the ones that force you to step up, that turn you into someone you can be proud of. Now think about the people you admire most, the ones with stories that inspire you. Do you think they got there by staying comfortable, by choosing safety every single time? No, they took the risk. They embraced the unknown. And that is why we remember their names. But this isn't about them. This is about you. Right now, there's a version of you in the future, stronger, wiser, more confident, who is looking back at this moment. And they're hoping, praying that you made the choice to take the risk, to step up, to write a story worth telling. So here's the real question. When you look back on your life, do you want to tell a story of fear or a story of courage? Do you want to say, I wish I hadn't, or I'm so glad I did it? Because at the end of the day, no risk, no story. Now it's your turn. What's yours? If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and drop a comment below. Tell me, what's one thing you're committing to change today? Because this isn't just about watching videos, it's about leveling up your life. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next video, because I promise you, this is just the beginning. Now get up, get moving, and make it happen.